Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Albertans react to delays in the federal government's plans to take in Syrian refugees.
We did hear from the federal government. They had said originally that they would be bringing them here by the end of this year, and now we know it's not to the end of February, so it's slowed down the process.
A new drug is on the radar for Edmonton police.
Sort of just the evolution of, again, another use of marijuana. Is it on our radar? Yes.
And the Edmonton Ski Club is launching a crowdfunding campaign to get disadvantaged skiers on the slopes.
Outreach to the community is paramount to the direction we're going.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. The federal government's plan to resettle 25,000 Syrian refugees across Canada by the end of this year has been delayed.
The new plan is set to resettle 10,000 refugees by the end of next month and the other 15,000 by the end of February. Our Stacey Ward joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
The delay in intakes has prompted a sigh of relief from Edmonton settlement agencies as they are welcoming the extended time to prepare for their arrival. Privately sponsored refugees will form around 40% of the 25,000 people set to arrive. Gail Millard is one of those private sponsors. Working alongside her church, she has already sponsored 3 families within the Edmonton area.
And I'm looking for some help with my family. 2 brother-in-law. You have to bring them. You have to, give them the opportunity to have their children educated, have decent health care, get jobs, and be productive citizens.
Millard receives emails daily from Syrians who are desperately looking to escape to Canada.
It is heartbreaking to have to tell people they don't meet the criteria. People from Syria that are in Syria that want to come. And they can't because they don't meet the criteria of refugees.
Although the government has still not confirmed how many refugees will arrive in Alberta, the province is anticipating around 2,500 to 3,000 to settle here.
These people are fleeing terror and violence in their home country, and everyone deserves to have a safe place to live. I mean, that's just a basic right, and we're happy to stand up as a country, as a province.
The refugee settlement will require additional resources that Alberta is expecting from the federal government. Health Minister Sarah Hoffman has announced she will be asking for an additional $5 million. She says that's the estimate of how much it will cost to provide a year of secured housing, alongside with other support for government-sponsored refugees.
5, 4.
The province also announced they'll be designating an additional $1 million on top of the $250,000 put towards the refugee effort earlier this year.
Stacey, has any additional support being offered by the federal government?
The federal government will also contribute an added $100 million to aid United Nations for commissioners, refugees in efforts to help meet their basic daily needs.
Stacey, which cities in Alberta are set to receive refugees?
Well, 5 cities in Alberta will be receiving refugees. The majority will be in Edmonton and Calgary, with the remaining being divided between Lethbridge, Red Deer, and Medicine Hat. Refugees will be housed in military bases across the country, as well as community institutions, hospitals, and personal homes.
Thanks, Stacey. That's Stacey Ward reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
A derivative of marijuana called shatter is quickly gaining popularity in Canada.
But its potential dangers are being disputed. Our Eva Zawalik joins us now with more about the drug.
Shatter is a highly potent form of marijuana that, while it's illegal in Alberta, it is sold in several dispensaries across British Columbia. Last Sunday, police sent out a series of tweets in Vancouver warning people about the dangers of the drug. However, they removed the tweets a day later and posted an apology.
The controversial tweets included a warning that shatter can cause temporary psychosis, and another read, "Parents, please educate your children on the dangers of shatter. We cannot lose any more young people to senseless overdoses."
The fact that someone would say that you can overdose from THC is also just ridiculous. It's not a danger to anyone.
James says shatter became available in Edmonton a year ago, and he now prefers it over other forms of pot.
They extract the THC from the plant, and so it's basically all the psychoactive ingredient that gets you high and no carcinogens that come with smoking the plant.
This drug got its name because it looks like a pane of glass and can be shattered into small pieces. It also has a THC content of up to 90%, making it attractive to recreational users and those who need it for medical reasons.
I really believe that it's the highest concentrate of THC you can come up with. Medical patients don't want to smoke or consume anything that has carcinogenics or any tamper. They want the natural plant, the healing plant that they need for their conditions.
I mean, over the last number of years, there's been more hybrid forms of marijuana that have become even more strong to the user coming out of British Columbia and other places in the world.
Most people who get into smoking weed will become aware of it. It's significantly more expensive, so it's like a delicacy kind of, but it's definitely more valued than the plant.
Police confirm that while shatter is on their radar, they're saying that it's not a prevalent substance on the streets of Edmonton at this time.
Thanks, Eva. That's Eva Zawalik reporting live from 118th Ave.
Alberta Ministers of Health and Environment met Monday with the public to pledge their commitment to improve Albertan air quality.
We're taking concrete action to reduce air pollution and make it easier for Albertans to breathe.
As part of their climate leadership plan unveiled Sunday, the NDP government has promised to phase out coal-fired electricity generation by 2030. This supplied video shows how pollution from coal and other power plants is spread across the province.
Big breath in, blow. Keep going, Lori.
One problem affected by the air pollution is asthma.
And what we're going to learn from this is we're going to find out what level of airflow obstruction you have in your lungs. Typically of asthmatics.
10% of Albertans have asthma. That's compared to a national average of 8.5%.
Tributes are still pouring in over the loss of Manmeet Buller after a semi lost control and hit him while he stopped to help another motorist. Manmeet was first elected to Alberta's legislature in 2008, and he served as a cabinet minister in various roles in infrastructure, human services, and Service Alberta. Provincial leaders from both sides of the floor have been mourning the loss.
All his life, he was driven by his commitment to making a difference and to public service. So I urge you to be inspired by Manmeet. Nothing would, I think, have pleased him more.
Flags at the legislature are flying at half-mast in remembrance. Buller's funeral service will be held at the Jubilee Auditorium from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow, beginning at noon.
With her sights set on this weekend's COP Climate Conference in Paris, Premier Notley sought the climate change insight of local high school students. Plans for a group from the high school to attend the conference were canceled in the wake of the November 13th attacks in Paris. The group was to present the Canadian Youth White Paper on Climate Change, a collaborative report involving the ideas of 25,000 youths from across the country.
I call you leaders because you recognize the problem, climate change, and you did something about it. And that is what leaders do.
After being contacted by the school's principal, Premier Notley decided she would take the report to Paris herself. She will be among nearly 150 heads of government traveling to the conference.
The food bank usage has seen a drastic increase, with the economy taking a hit this year. One of the major projects that helps the food banks is Stuff a Bus. Stuff a Bus wound the campaign up today, getting to every Save on Foods location to collect donations for the food bank.
Especially this time of year and with the economic uncertainty, the food banks, they are needed more and more. So this year more than ever, we certainly hope that the generosity of the Edmonton community really opens up to support Stuff a Bus this year.
Last year, Stuff a Bus raised over $14,000 and collected more than 20,000 kilograms of food.
The Valley LRT line is one step closer to completion. The city announced that TransEd Partners will be responsible for building and running the first phase of the new $1.8 billion Valley line from Millwoods to downtown. This is the single biggest infrastructure project in the city's history and the first under the public-private partnership.
We made this choice because a P3 offered the best value for money over the life of the project, and because a P3 allows us to transfer project risk back to the proponent of the private sector rather than having taxpayers carry that risk and burden.
The final contract is to be signed by February 2016. Construction can start in the spring of 2016. The trains won't be on the tracks, though, until December 2020.
The city is hoping to put a stop to motorists illegally stealing disabled parking spots by reminding drivers that laziness is not a disability.
You hereby proclaim November 23rd through 27th, 2015, Accessible Parking Awareness Week in Edmonton, Alberta's capital city.
The city wants to inform the community that it's drivers' responsibility to ensure that these parking stalls are properly used, especially in the upcoming winter season.
The thing that comes into mind is safety and having to trudge through unshoveled snow in parking lots where there's low visibility. Because I am in a wheelchair and lowered to the ground, that becomes a challenge.
In the last 3 years, over 10,000 tickets have been issued to drivers illegally using disabled parking stalls. Coming up after the break, Christmas comes but once a year.
We'll find out about some of the different ways students celebrate the holiday season.
I have never celebrated Christmas with white people over here.
Hi, I'm Matt Moswich. Coming up in sports, I got Ooks basketball highlights, I got a Grey Cup preview, and I talked to Serge Lajoie, head coach of the U of A Golden Bears.
Well, it's finally here. Winter is sticking around this time. Or maybe not. I'll have all those details and the rest of your forecast coming up after the break.
The Edmonton Ski Club is ready for the first run of the season.
They're hoping a crowdfunding campaign will put 1,000 disadvantaged skiers on their hill this season.
We've identified a number of groups in the city, disadvantaged youth, folks with some disabilities, and they've expressed an interest to come and learn to ski and snowboard here at the Edmonton Ski Club.
The ski club has started a GoFundMe page for their venture. Every $20 donated puts a skier on the hill.
Outreach to the community is paramount to the direction we're going. So the GoFundMe site is just a wonderful way for Edmonton to help its citizens get out and embrace winter.
The ski club opened this weekend thanks to a week of snowmaking and Monday's snowstorm. So Shay, how are you enjoying the aftermath of that big snowstorm?
I'm not enjoying it much at all, but I heard it's supposed to warm up. Hopefully Matt has some good news in weather.
Yeah, guys, that snow hit really fast, but it's not going to last long. We're going to have a lot of good warm temperatures coming up going into December and mostly sunny skies, probably for most of December as well. Going over to Calgary, they're going to have -7 in the morning and moving up to -1. It's going to be a beautiful day over there. No chance of snow. Over in Jasper in the mountain parks, we're going to see -15 in the morning, going up to -2 in the afternoon. A great day to go skiing. Maybe not so much early morning. Might want to stay off the hill for a bit. Over in Fort McMurray, you're doing some work on Sunday. It's going to be a nice day. -9 in the morning, going up to -4. Also partly cloudy, so still nice. And over in our capital city, we're going to have a balmy day. -8 in the morning, 0 in the afternoon. It's just going to be a beautiful day, so make sure you get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Next, we're going to have averages for this time of year. It's going to be -11 and -2, so we're definitely above seasonal right now, which is nice to see. And the rest of the records, 1896, -36. That is cold. Definitely glad it's not this time around. 1956 though, we'll take that. Guys, that's been your look at NAIT NewsWatch Weather.
NAIT NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92.com, the station for the students.
Thanks, Matt. Well, perhaps it was the late arrival of that snow, but for whatever reason, Christmas is sneaking up on some people who haven't given the holidays much thought.
Students on campus are no exception. So in this week's student body, Tom Armstrong hit the halls to see how people plan to deck the halls in just a few weeks.
Snow is on the ground and classes are almost over. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. With 3 more weeks of school, many students are deciding what they are doing for the holidays. For some, they are worried about the oncoming semester, working, and even attending practicums.
We work 5 on, 4 off, 4 on, 5 off. I'm working Christmas Day, but have Christmas Eve off. So.
No, man, just study for my final exams, get over it.
I'm not missing school because it's important.
NAIT being a culturally diverse school, like Jade Reed, he has never celebrated a Canadian Christmas.
I have never celebrated Christmas with white people over here. Yeah. I have done it with my friends back at home. There wasn't much excitement in my part of the country about Christmas. There was a holiday, though, don't hurt you.
For some students, planning for time off and even working during the break takes precedence over the holidays. However, just because we are in Canada doesn't mean we all celebrate the same holiday either. There are many holidays that do go unrecognized during the winter months. Being out of country, Jade Reed is still excited to celebrate something new and to learn Christmas traditions.
25th of December, but I really want to say, I have seen people lightening their homes. There are lights on the roads. It looks pretty nice, and it's all shining all the way. Yeah. So I want to see how people do this. How do they celebrate it?
Tom Armstrong, NAIT NewsWatch.
Well, NAIT Ooks athletics are winding down before the holiday season.
Yeah, they sure are. Unfortunately, I didn't get to take in any of the action. Hopefully, Moss did in sports.
Guys, I did. There was so much great action this weekend, and I got some highlights for you. We're going to start things off on the hardwood. The Ooks came into the weekend coming off a tough loss at the hands of the Lakeland Rustlers. They were looking to regain their winning form in a weekend set versus the King's College Eagles. The Ooks took game 1 at King's College and were looking for the weekend sweep. First half, it's Aaron Yaremchuk. His teammates call him the Big Sexy. He drives hard, gets the bucket and one, giving the Eagles the early lead. The Ooks answer right back as Connor Dolson picks up the air ball and lays it in for 2, putting the Ooks up 31-26. And in the dying seconds of the first half, Jackson Jacob takes flight. Jacob throws it down with no regard for human life, pushing the Ooks lead to 12 as we head into the second half. In the second half, the Ooks start to find their range from downtown. First, it's Jacob finding Dolson in the corner. He drains it. Then late in the second half, it's Adrian Curtis with back-to-back triples, putting the finishing touches on the Ooks' victory. The Eagles couldn't find an answer for the long ball as the Ooks take this one 90-74, improving to 8-2 heading into the last weekend of the season's first half. After the game, head coach Mike Connolly spoke about his team's performance so far this year.
You know, we knew we were going to lose a couple. We're not going to be perfect. The goal is to win at the end of the year. It's not, you know, in this program, we're not about winning games necessarily, but we want to win championships. So sometimes you got to take a slap to the face to get better and move on.
Moving on to the women's team, they were also taking on the Eagles, who coming into this one were 0-8, looking for their first win on the year. Well, they should keep looking, as it was all Ooks in this one. Early on, it's Shaylin Noyes with the pick. She goes streaking the other way, fully clothed, and lays it in for 2. Then it's Raylene Hooper kicking it out to Emily Moore. She knocks down the tray. It's 49-22 Ooks at the half. Second half was more of the same. 2 minutes in, it's Noyes playing some tough D. She steals the ball and takes it all the way to the other end of the court for the layup. And under a minute later, it's Noyes again with the strip. She takes it to the hole for 2. She had a game-high 17. The Ooks take this one in a rout, 88-46. The Ooks currently sit in second place in the North Division with an 8-2 record. Moving off the court now, when Ian Herbers abruptly left the U of A Golden Bears program earlier this year, it left a massive void behind the bench. The man responsible for filling that void is former Ooks head coach Serge Lajoie. Lajoie, who coached the Ooks to 2 ACAC championships, was tasked with teaching his systems to a new group of players.
Obviously, there was a transitional phase in there, you know, more from a standpoint of the players getting comfortable with me, with my style of coaching, and myself getting to know the players.
Despite the new surroundings, Lajoie has the Bears playing excellent hockey.
Really liked our last 2 weekends. We're going into our last weekend against Lethbridge, and we are, I believe we're playing our best hockey of the year.
Lajoie faces pressure joining an elite team like the Golden Bears, but he says there's always pressure in the game of hockey.
There's pressure. As a player, as a coach, regardless if you're coming off back-to-back national championships, you're always putting yourself in a pressure to be there in the end.
Well, the wait is almost over. The 103rd Grey Cup is only one sleep away. The hometown Edmonton Eskimos clash with the Ottawa Red Blacks tomorrow night at 4. Here's a quick preview of the action. The Eskimos come into this one red hot, riding a 9-game win streak. Edmonton enters the game with 13 Grey Cup wins, with the last one coming in 2005. Their opponent, the Ottawa Red Blacks, make it to the Grey Cup in only their second season in the league. The last time an Ottawa team made the Grey Cup was 1981. Of course, they were called the Rough Riders in those days. And if you're looking for a place to watch the game, the Eskimos are hosting a viewing party at Northlands. It's an 18 or older event, doors open at 2, admission is free with a donation to the Edmonton Food Bank. For this week's End Zone Challenge, I decided to get my sweat on and learn about one of NAIT's many excellent fitness options, the personal fitness trainers.
We're here to work with the clients one-on-one or with groups. We can help motivate, we can help track progress, help clients achieve their goals.
I met up with Corinne Flory, one of NAIT's many personal fitness trainers, and she walked me through 5 basic exercises for beginners. The TRX row, a pulling exercise that works the back and arm muscles.
Pull up. Yeah, like that.
The squat, a full body exercise that works the lower body and also requires muscles of the abdominal and back to stabilize. Bent over row, a pulling exercise that works the back and arm muscles. The crunch, an exercise that works the abdominal muscles.
And then you're just gonna lift high enough that your shoulder blades come off the ground.
And the dumbbell shoulder press, a pushing exercise that works the shoulder muscles. For more information about NAIT's personal fitness trainers, you can visit nait.ca and click on the Student Life tab.
Wow, Matt, you were working pretty hard out there. Are you still sweating?
Maybe a little bit, but they really put me through the gears there. But I had a lot of fun.
Thanks, Matt. Coming up after the break, the CFL Western Final wasn't just a win for the Eskimos.
We helped out with the goodwill at Commonwealth Stadium during the game and witnessed Edmontonians' generosity.
We like to help out wherever we can.
Hey, I'm your entertainment host, Hunter Johnson, and this week we take a look at a new music venue being opened in Edmonton, 9910. We take a look at City Hall unveiling its new Aboriginal art, and the Nest gets nominated for one of the best bar none campus bars. So I'll have more on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Hair services by Rock Salon and Spa.
The Eskimos may have made the headlines this past weekend, but they weren't the only fans supporting.
As Shay and I found out, many people seized the opportunity to donate to the Goodwill.
Let's go Eskies! Let's go Eskies! Let's go!
This is our first time being able to be in partnership with the Edmonton Eskimos and Chorus Entertainment for the Winter Clothing Drive.
The Goodwill had stations set up at all stadium gates before the game. Shay and I helped with the donation intake, but it was the fans who did all the real work. 2,500 pounds of clothing were donated, creating 220 hours of work for the disabled.
Thank you very much. Awesome.
I just believe in what Goodwill does, and like there's just so many great causes in the city, and we like to help out wherever we can.
Well, Shay, there's a lot going around culturally in the city this week. There's new plays, new venues. Have you gotten a chance to see Big out in St. Albert yet?
No, not yet, Connor, but our entertainment host Hunter Johnson did, and he's got the details.
Best Bar None celebrated the very best of Edmonton's nightlife on Thursday night.
Hudson's Canadian Tap House, White Avenue.
Bar None recognizes the safest bars and nightclubs in our city that are committed to keeping their night spot a safe environment. Some of this year's winners were Best Bar/Lounge, which went to OTR Kitchen and Bar. Best Restaurant and Bar went to Teddy's Palace, and our very own NAIT bar, The Nest, came home with Best Campus Bar as well. The event will celebrate its 7th year next winter.
I can't believe they actually, low budget, they had to ask a French guy a French figure skater of all things, to host this thing.
A brand new music venue in Edmonton is hopeful that it will attract more people to watch live music again.
Edmonton's dying for music. It's a difficult place to go out and see local bands, international talent, so on and so forth. So we're hoping to fill the void, I guess.
9910 is located in the basement of the Common restaurant and plays a variety of music from EDM to rock. McDonald is looking to stand out from his competitors by the bands he brings in.
I mean, that was the point of doing the venue, was to, bring in some bigger names and start sort of, showing Edmonton what we felt was cool, I guess you could say, and hopefully more in the future.
Well, if you love the movie Big with Tom Hanks back in the 80s as much as I did, then maybe you should drop by the Art and Theater for a new version.
What's everybody standing around for? I want to see some feet moving.
Big the Musical plays in St. Albert at the Art and Theater next week, and the cast has been practicing the play since September with rigorous practice 4 days a week. The play follows a young boy, Josh, as he wishes to be bigger.
Really upset and jealous of people that are taller, and so he goes to the Zoltar machine and he wishes to be big, which he means taller, but he ends up waking up the next day in a 30-year-old body as his 12-year-old self.
Big will be playing at the Art and Theater all next week until December 6th. Have you ever felt stupid by someone who's younger than you? Well, I definitely have, and this video just takes it to a whole nother level.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I'm 3 years old, and I'm Dad, so you, Daddy.
We're going to show them the elements. K.
Potassium.
Good job. Ca.
Oh, potassium. It's in milk.
Calcium is in milk. Good job. Sc.
Sodium.
Ti.
Titanium.
V.
Vanadium.
She goes on to name all 118 elements. This video was uploaded 2 weeks ago, and she has already appeared on The Ellen Show to show off her talent. Well, that's been a look at entertainment this week. Have a great night.
Wow, I think we might have a future Nobel Prize winner on our hands there.
Yeah, we sure might.
Right on. Who's picking for the Grey Cup tomorrow?
Oh, it's got to be the Eskimos' hometown team. It's finally time. Since 2005, it's been a long time.
You know what, Riley did look pretty good last week.
Yeah, he sure did.
Well, that's been your look at news, weather, sports, and entertainment for the week.
Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.